Hey, I gotta talk to somebody about this. Come on. So, for those who might know, I'm doing an Atlanta rewatch with 2026 eyes, mind you, awareness, perspective, mind. This episode, which happens to be Van's episode, which was a season 3 finale, called, I think it's pronounced Terrare. There's a historical context to that as well that ties into the episode, which is fucking it's disgusting. However, this episode plus the Teddy Perkins episode, these two have always given me like, when I watched them initially, it was always like, oh, that's creepy. That's a weird episode. We'll move on. But no. The team there, Hero Murai, Donald Glover, I believe Stephen Glover also, they have been dropping hints for so long about what's been going on that we didn't know about. Let me break this down for you a little bit. So the episode starts with Candace, her friend, and her friend's cousin. They were all flown in for free to Paris to have like a lovely time. Candace is one of Van's longtime friends. Candace showed up, I want to say somewhere like mid-season 1 or season 2, where her and Van had a really nice dinner together. Actually, Candace, that night is the reason why Van does not teach anymore, from what I understand. She had failed her drug test because she had like smoked one with Candace in the car. But it was because they were trying to patch their relationship up because they had like some underlying tension, because the way Candace gets her money is by using her body. I wouldn't outright call her but she's for sale, and if people have enough money, maybe she's an escort. I don't know, like she's like in the realm where she just dates very famous and wealthy men. So one of these wealthy men flew her and her friends out to Paris so that she would perform a specific act. However, she didn't mind doing it. She does this for this guy all the time, that she said there's a specific like type of clientele that like specific things, and she's very much with that. And like, get it how you live. That's not my testimony, but whatever. And Van was very judgy of her because she's like, we can't all, she was also resentful. It was judgment and resentment that she had for both, and a little bit of jealousy there, because Van, unlike Candace, even though they were on the same trajectory at one point, because Van could have also lived that same lifestyle, but Van chose to become a teacher, and she had Lottie with Ern, although her and Ern are not married, which also breeds some form of resentment as well, because I think if she was married, she'd feel a little bit better about where, how she was doing in her life. But needless to say, all of that leads to this psychological breakdown that she has while she's in Paris, or even leading up to it, because she had told Candace towards the end of the episode, when she finally kind of comes back, grounds herself back into her own psyche, that she like had closed her eyes while she was driving on the road. She had just been so overwhelmed with everything, including, having to take care of Lottie on her own. So she, prior to coming to Europe, because she went to Amsterdam first to meet up with Ern and Paperboy and Darius, and dropped Lottie off at her parents' house. And her coming to Europe is nothing new for her, because she used to do it all the time as a child. However, when Candace sees her, she's like, oh shit. First of all, Van is known for having like beautiful, natural, curly hair just out and about. So she had kind of hinted at this change that she was making to Ern, because she had said she stole this wig. And I forgot what episode it was in, but this lady came to do like a citizen's arrest on her in the hotel, but Ern ended up defending her. He was like, she wouldn't steal. But he did not know. Although, in retrospect, now that I'm watching it again, Darius knew that she was going through something, because Darius can kind of see through the veil, which ends up tying to his role in this whole series. I'm talking a lot. I need to get into the episode because it ties into today. But anyways, she was having this. Okay, she saw her. She bought the wig. She was wearing the wig. She was living as the person that wears the wig, which is a movie character for a movie I've never seen, but I believe it's Emily, she said. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. But she just kind of embodied her down to the French accent. And I guess maybe some things that she would do. I did not see the movie, so I don't know like the character reference exactly. But she basically told Candace that she just decided to become her because that was just easier than her regular life. So Candace sees her. She goes to see her. I think she was in a bakery. And she was like, hey, girl. And Van was like, huh? She didn't recognize her. She's like, it's me, Candace. And then she had to think of whether she wanted to engage with her in that reality or not. And she was like, "Oh, Candice," or however she pronounced it. I'm sorry, but and then she was like, "Hey, why don't you and your friends come along with me?" The whole time in this French accent, she's like, "Why don't you and your friends come along with me to run some errands?" So they're like, "Cool." Her friends were looking for an adventure anyway. They needed a local to show them around to have a genuinely good time, regardless. So the first stop they make is to go to her apartment. Van has an apartment in Paris, mind you. And she sees a picture of her and she's like, "Oh, who's this?" And she's like, "Oh, that's my partner, her fiance." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that's cute, I guess." And as soon as she starts to get kind of closer towards like the kitchen area to kind of figure out like what's going on, Van pops out. She's like, "Let's go." So they leave the apartment. So we don't get like a deep look into what's going on, which is odd, knowing how this played out. Anyways, I'll circle back to that. But they go to Alexander Skarsgård, his hotel room in Paris, his suite. He looks like he's like high as a kite, to be honest. He was talking about them all getting naked together and shit like that. But Van goes there to look for a very specific key. So she gets the key, she finds it, and then she dumps like rugs. I don't know what the fuck we can say. She dumps rugs all over his apartment, and then she runs downstairs to the concierge with her friends. She's like, "We gotta go now." And then she tells the concierge, "Hey, I think he's doing it again. He's spiraling. Call the police and go upstairs right now." So the concierge leaves. She's like, "Cool. All right, next errand." So her friends like, Candace is like, "What the fuck was that?" First of all, when did you start dealing with Alexander Skarsgård? Also, didn't you have a fiance? Also, what are you talking about? What did you just do? What's happened? So she's already like side-eyeing, to say the least, vocally side-eyeing. And then, so the next errand that they run, this is pivotal. They go to like what I imagine is like a project area in Paris. And the dudes, it's all young men that come out and they're looking at her like sketchy, like, what are you, like they're about to do something to her. And they're calling her this name, which is the name of the episode, which is, I believe, Terrare or Terrare, something like that, who happens to be some historical French figure who was known for having an insatiable appetite that included human flesh. Yes. Yes. And I believe Van said in the episode, I should go back and look so I can quote you, but she said, "Oh, he was known for eating a baby." And they're like, "Why is he calling," before she said this, they're like, "Why do they keep calling you that? Why are they calling you that?" And then she said, he was known for eating a baby. My God, like me saying that is making me physically fucking ill. But they get their tire slashed, whatever, and she looks in the box. She has the key, so she looks in the box of where she's supposed to find this package. The package is not there. So she goes to a museum because whoever's supposed to drop that package off did not do his job. Emilio did not do his job. She said, "Emilio fucked us," in this French accent. And she goes to this museum. She finds Emilio. She beats the shit out of him. He tells her that the package that she's looking for is in a vase. She beats him with that baguette right there. She beats the shit out of him. Bloody. Almost kills him. Again, not like Van at all. Very weird. Again, Candace is like, "What the fuck is going on?" So I got to fast forward because it's almost 10 minutes. Oh, my God. Okay. So they go. Yeah, I know. So yeah, girl. They go to the restaurant now. This is the final step. You can tell it's a very elite like party. It's very exclusive, very intimate. It's her chef fiance Marcel is cooking, and the package she brings for him is a meal for him to make. Bitch, why the fuck was it hands? It was human hands, adult size hands. So I've seen this before where I guess in France it's like a delicacy to eat this rare bird and they put like a hood over their head so they eat it, whatever. They had them do the same with the hand, but she said it was so that they could really enjoy it. Like, this is fucking disgusting, and it's been on. They were trying to tell us. I don't go back and watch that episode. And then the girls, these two girls, they were there because Candace and Van were having a conversation, but they were eating it. And then something happened and I guess she choked. I forgot what happened, but one of the girls ended up like unveiling. She's like, "Bitch, we eating hands. We're eating hands." So she gags. They start throwing up and nobody else reacts at the table. Nobody else reacts to them throwing up. And they tell them like, "Hey, y'all are eating hands." They did not care. They just kept eating with the hoods on. Bitch, I don't know. I don't fucking know.